Why is it that you can want something so badly, burn with motivation for 3 days, and then find yourself back on the couch, scrolling through social media, feeling like a failure by day 4? Why do we set New Year's resolutions with such high hopes, only to abandon them by February? We tell ourselves we're lazy. We tell ourselves we lack discipline. We look at successful people, the straight-A students, the marathon runners, the CEOs, and we think they have some superhuman willpower that we simply weren't born with. But what if I told you that is a lie? What if I told you that you are not the problem? The problem is your system. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Welcome back. This is the Book Summary Podcast, and today we are decoding the manual for human potential, Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you have ever struggled to break a bad habit, or if you are desperate to build a productive routine for studying or working, but just can't seem to stick to it, you are in the right place. By the end of this audio, you won't just have motivation, you will have a blueprint. Before we dive into the strategy, I need to be real with you for a second. A 10-minute summary is incredible for getting the big ideas, but it is just the map, not the territory. James Clear goes into deep scientific nuances and specific stories in the full book that we simply cannot fit into a short episode. If you want to truly master your psychology and rewire your brain, I have left a link to the full audiobook in the description below. It is often free with an Audible trial. I highly recommend you grab it so you can learn while you commute or clean the house. It's the best investment you can make in yourself this year. Now, let's get into the first major lesson, and this one changes everything.
Most people believe a dangerous myth. We believe that massive success requires massive action. We think that if we want to lose weight, we need to starve ourselves and run 10 miles a day starting tomorrow. If we want to ace our exams, we need to pull all-nighters and study for 12 hours straight. We are addicted to the idea of the overnight success or the quantum leap. We want the montage moment where everything changes in a split second. But here is the truth. The most powerful changes are invisible. This is what James Clear calls the 1% rule. The math is simple but staggering. If you can get just 1% better each day for 1 year, you'll end up 37 times better by the time you're done. Conversely, if you get 1% worse each day for 1 year, you'll decline nearly down to 0. Small habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine an ice cube sitting on a table in a freezing cold room. The room is 25 degrees. You want to melt the ice. You slowly heat up the room. 26 degrees. The ice is still there. 27 degrees. Still solid. 28, 29, 30, 31. Nothing has happened. You have been putting in energy, heating the room, doing the work, and yet physically there is zero evidence of your progress. You might feel like quitting because you think your efforts are being wasted. But then you hit 32 degrees, and snap, the ice begins to melt. A 1-degree shift, seemingly no different from the temperature increases before it, has unlocked a huge change. James Clear calls this the plateau of latent potential. This is where dreams go to die. This is the valley of disappointment. You work hard for weeks, going to the gym, studying vocabulary, saving money, but the scale doesn't move. Your grades haven't jumped yet, and your bank account looks the same. You feel like nothing is happening, but you are wrong. You aren't wasting your time. You are just storing energy. You are heating the room from 25 to 31 degrees.
Pause for a second. I want to know if you are in the valley of disappointment right now. Be honest with me in the comments. Is there a goal you've been working on where you feel like you're trying hard but seeing 0 results? Type yes and tell me what it is. I'll wait. It's important to acknowledge this because once you realize you are just heating the ice, it becomes easier to keep going. So the action step here is to stop obsessing over the result. Forget the goal. Focus on the system. Don't worry about getting an A on the final exam. Worry about being the person who studies for 20 minutes every single night. The score will take care of itself. This leads us directly into our second key takeaway, which I believe is the deepest psychological insight in the entire book. It's about why we sabotage ourselves. The myth is that behavior change is about outcome. We say, I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to write a book. We focus on what we want to achieve, but this is superficial. The truth is that lasting change only happens when you focus on identity. It's not about what you want to achieve, it is about who you wish to become. Let me tell you a story about two people trying to quit smoking. When offered a cigarette, the first person says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." Sounds reasonable, right? But think about the psychology there. They still believe they are a smoker who is trying to do something else. They are a smoker attempting to be healthy. The old identity is still driving the bus. Now the second person refuses the cigarette by saying, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker." It's a small difference, but the shift is massive. This person no longer identifies as a smoker. Smoking was part of their past life, not their current one. This applies perfectly to studying or productivity. If you tell yourself, "I'm bad at math," or "I'm a procrastinator," you will subconsciously act in ways that confirm that belief. Your brain hates cognitive dissonance. If you believe you are a lazy person, you will find a way to sabotage your productivity just to prove yourself right.
True behavior change is identity change. The goal is not to read a book. The goal is to become a reader. The goal is not to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner. When your behavior and your identity are aligned, you are no longer pursuing behavior change. You are simply acting like the sort of person you already believe yourself to be. I want to try a little experiment with you right now to lock this in. I want you to define your new identity. Don't tell me what you want to get. Tell me who you are. Pause the audio and type in the comments, "I am a..." fill in the blank. "I am a disciplined student. I am an investor. I am a healthy eater." Type it out. Claim it. When you write it down, it becomes real. We're about halfway through, and I hope you're starting to see the matrix of your own habits. If you are finding value in this deep dive, please hit that subscribe button for the Book Summary Podcast. We are on a mission to decode the world's best books, so you can upgrade your life, one summary at a time. And remember, if you want the full toolkit of habit stacking templates that James Clear provides, check that affiliate link in the description for the audiobook. Now, let's move to the practical machinery of the book. How do we actually install these habits? This brings us to the third takeaway, the 4 laws of behavior change. The myth is that you lack motivation. You think you need to watch a motivational video or get hyped up to do the work. The truth is, you don't need more motivation. You need a better environment. James Clear breaks this down into 4 laws. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. Let's focus on the 2 most critical ones for productivity, making it obvious and making it easy. Environment design is stronger than willpower. If you want to practice guitar, but your guitar is locked in its case in the back of the closet, you will never play it. If you want to study, but your phone is sitting right next to your textbook, buzzing every 30 seconds, you will fail. It's not because you are weak. It's because the cue for the bad habit, the phone, is obvious, and the cue for the good habit, the guitar, is hidden. James Clear tells the story of how he improved his dental hygiene. He wanted to floss more, but he never did. So he bought a bowl, filled it with floss picks, and put it right next to his toothbrush. He didn't have to look for it. It was right there. He made it obvious. Now, let's talk about make it easy. Human nature follows the law of least effort. We naturally gravitate toward the option that requires the least amount of work. This is why scrolling through TikTok is so addictive. It requires 0 friction. Studying requires high friction. To combat this, you need to use the 2-minute rule. The rule states, when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. Read before bed each night becomes read 1 page. Do 30 minutes of yoga becomes take out my yoga mat. Study for class becomes open my notes. The point is not to do the one thing. The point is to master the art of showing up. You can't improve a habit that doesn't exist.
Establish the habit first, then optimize it later. A lot of people try to optimize a habit they haven't even established yet. They try to find the perfect workout plan before they've even proven they can drive to the gym for 5 days in a row. Let's look at a counterexample. Have you ever walked into a room to do work, but then you saw your bed and suddenly you felt tired? Or you sat at your gaming desk to study, but you automatically opened a game instead? That's because your environment is linked to a specific context.
Here is a question that might hurt a little, but I want you to reflect on it. Do you check your phone within 5 minutes of waking up in the morning? Be honest. Does the day start with you reacting to the world, or with you creating your world? If the answer is yes, you are failing the make it difficult law for bad habits. You need to increase friction. Charge your phone in another room. If you want to study, leave your phone in the kitchen. If you have to walk to another room to check Instagram, you probably won't do it as often. So, here is your action plan for the 4 laws. Pick one bad habit you want to break. Now, how can you make it invisible and difficult? Unplug the TV? Delete the app? Put the junk food on the highest shelf. And pick one good habit. How can you make it obvious and easy? Put your running shoes by the door. Put a book on your pillow. Success is not a mystery. It is not magic. It is engineering. To wrap this up, remember, atomic habits are small atoms that build the molecule of your life. You might feel discouraged today because you don't see the results. You might be at 29 degrees, heating up that ice cube, waiting for the melt. Do not quit. You are closer than you think. The results of your efforts are often delayed. It is not until months or years later that we realize the true value of the previous work we have done. Don't let the simplicity of these ideas fool you. Implementation is everything. If you want to go deeper into habit stacking, temptation bundling, and the advanced tactics of behavior change, please go get the full book. The link is right there in the description. Thank you for lending me your ears and your attention today. This has been the Book Summary Podcast. If you are ready to change your identity and master your life, I'll see you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep building.